Now, there's an old saying, defense wins championships. Well, today I'm going to prove that's a lot of nonsense because we're going to build a 99 overall offense and a 0 overall defense. Now, how are we going to build a 0 overall defense? Well, we technically can't build an actual 0 overall defense because if I had 0 overalls in my defense, then clearly this wouldn't work. Like in videos in the past, I've had 0 overall defensemen on my team. And yeah, if you have 0 overall defensemen, you're not going to be winning. If we had all of these stick on the ice legends playing on our defense, we wouldn't see any success. So we're going to build our 0 overall defense by not having any defensemen on our team above an 80 overall, and we can't have any defensive defensemen. So when it comes to building a team like that, all of the defensemen that we have on this team are either going to have 3 stars or lower. We're going to have no good defensemen on this team, but that's perfectly fine because we're going to build the greatest offense of all time. And if we're going to build the greatest offense of all time, and considering this is probably going to take a couple years, we need a young player like Kyle Connor who's going to put the puck in the back of the net, and that's what I'm going to go with my first selection. I could have gone with Nikita Kucherov, but I think a guy like Kyle Connor fits the timeline a little bit better. Another thing that we desperately need in a challenge like this, if we don't have good defense, we need an elite goaltender, and Sorokin, I'm going to go with you. I'm passing up on NHL 25 Thatcher Demko for Sorokin. Nah, things are getting wild out here. So I'm going to go ahead, draft the rest of my team, and then we'll take a look at our absolutely abysmal defense. Jordan Kyrou, you're my next selection. You're going to be a great piece alongside Kyle Connor. So I've gone ahead and completed our fantasy draft. I'm immediately going to address the elephant in the room. I do believe that Sebastian Aho, the defenseman, is a defensive defenseman. I forgot to check what his player style was before I drafted him. If he is a defensive defenseman, I'll just trade him away for a 7th round pick or something. We're not allowed to have any defensive defensemen on this team. Besides that though, I think we have a pretty solid team here. Kyle Connor, Sorokin, Jordan Kyrou, Alex Tuch, Sam Bennett, Sean Monahan, Zaka, Zutterlund. We can certainly work with that. Alright, apparently Sebastian Aho, the defenseman, is actually a two-way defender. William Lagsson though, he's a defensive defenseman. So yeah, we'll trade him away for a 7th round pick, or I can just send him into the AHL, and I guess I can just do that. Now let's just take a quick look at our super team. Sean Monahan, Kyle Connor, Jordan Kyrou on the top line, Alex Tuch, Sam Bennett, Zaka on the second line. We have a decent offensive core here. Like, I'm not saying our offensive core is amazing, but we have some pieces here for sure. When it comes to the defense though, this is cooked. We have the worst defense in the entire league by far. Every player we have on this team is below an 80 overall, and on top of that, they all have 3 stars in their defensive attributes. Even though they're defensemen, they're not that great at defensemen. But you know what? Even though we have basically a 0 overall defense here, we're still going to find a way to make it work. Sorokin, you're going to be our starting goaltender. Carter George, I have no clue why you'd be the backup here. I'm going to send you to the CHL. We have other goalies in the system, like Scott Wedgwood. Yeah, you'll be the backup. Why would we have you in the AHL and Carter George in the NHL? That makes no sense. You know what? We're not going to worry about those questionable decisions. We're just going to make a couple questionable decisions ourselves and make some trades. Now, one thing that we do have to be careful about is since we basically don't have a defense here, we're probably not going to be that great of a team in year number 1, especially since we don't have an elite offense yet. Therefore, we definitely shouldn't trade our 1st round pick away because it's probably going to be a top 5 pick. In saying that, Evan Rodriguez and 2 2nd rounders sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Svechnikov, I can bring you to the team because I know for a fact your trade value is going to increase like crazy, and then when it does, I'm going to capitalize on it. So Rodriguez and 2 2nd rounders sent over. Is that going to be enough? They're saying no. I would give you a 3rd round pick, but I could give you a prospect, and I could just give you Kemmel. Like, at the end of the day, Svechnikov's going to be a better player than Kemmel, so Kemmel and a 2nd round pick might be enough here. So we'll offer this package over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They just want a little bit more, so I'll include a 7th round pick, and this is a big time move right here. This is going to be a huge upgrade to the team, but also in one season, we're going to flip Svechnikov for like 6 other really good players. Because yeah, look at this trade value right here. It's going to be probably triple that in 2 seasons. So with that trade complete here, there is a couple other things that we probably should do, and that's hand out extensions. Sam Bennett, of course, I'm going to be looking to bring you back to the team. And how does $5.1 million for the next 4 years sound? You seem pretty interested in that contract, so that's what I'm going to offer, and you're going to be accepting immediately. Zutterlund, hopefully you can do sub $3 million. You want 4.6. I shouldn't really be surprised at this. We honestly might trade you away. Bukestad, I might trade you away, barring what you're looking for. Hopefully we can re-sign you for a fairly cheap deal. 2.9 would work for me. Are you interested in 2.9? It looks like it. So Bukestad's going to be returning. Gustav Nyquist, you're probably going to walk here. Robinson, I can certainly bring you back though, but maybe not. You only want a 1-year deal at 3.2 million. If we did 2 years at 3.2, then maybe I could do something, but we can't do a 1-year deal at 3.2, that's for sure. So I think that's all we really have to do for extensions right now. But Zutterlund, I think I will trade you away. All right, so I'm hoping to pull off one more trade here, which is going to be Zutterlund, Max Domi, and a 2nd rounder from Mason McTavish. I think we have to improve the bottom 6 a little bit, and Mason McTavish would be a great upgrade for us, especially especially since I'll probably be able to re-sign him on a great contract. So I'll throw a third round pick in this deal. They're saying that's still not enough. Multiple third rounders then. We're trading a lot of draft picks in this deal, but we're not giving up first round picks, and that's all that matters. So with the offense that we've constructed here, is this a 99 overall offense? Of course not. We are a long ways away from building a 99 overall offense, but we're taking steps in the right direction. This is basically a 0 overall defense. Like, I think if we actually jumped in game, this would be like a 60 overall defense, and I think this is realistically the lowest you can go and win a Stanley Cup. I don't think you could go lower than having a 60 overall defense and win a Stanley Cup, but we're going to try to do it today. Sorokin, I'm relying on you big time here. So let's just hope for an absolute miracle and we can score 5 goals a game, because without 5 goals per game, we're probably not going to be winning. So while we simulate up to the trade deadline, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 84k subs by the end of the month. And if you don't subscribe, we can't do that. So what are you doing? Hit the button down below right now. Okay, I have to provide a disclaimer here. I did a couple tests with this video. When it comes to challenges like this, I do a couple tests just so I have an idea of what I'm looking at. When I did my test the other day, I found it was basically impossible to make it into the postseason unless you had at least 78 overall defensemen. I have now learned that is actually not the fact whatsoever. We have a 49-13-4 record. Kyle Connor has 109 points at the trade deadline. He has 72 goals. I don't know what's going on. These are just normal settings, nothing crazy going on, and all of a sudden Kyle Connor has 72 goals in 66 games. I really don't have any words to explain what's happening here. A 49-13-4 record. Somehow we haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. Don't really know how that's possible. We have the best defense in the entire game at 2.47. I think I have to make our defense a bit worse. So we're going to make trades here, not to make our offense better, but to make our defense worse, because this is ridiculous. Kyle Connor, 72 goals. What am I looking at here? Also, shout out to Sorokin, 34 wins, 2 shouts, a 923 and a 244. So this is what we're doing. 75 overall defensemen only. We can only have 75 overall defensemen. That's the highest rated defenseman we can have on this team. I don't know if our defensemen have progressed or something. I don't know if we have like 85 overall defensemen now. We have 180 overall. That's too high. We need 75s and below. I promise you, the other day when I did my tests, you basically needed like 78, 79 overall players, even 80 overall players just to sniff the postseason. Apparently 75s is all it's going to take. So yeah, let's go ahead and make some trades here. We're bringing in 75 overall defensemen. All right, so we're just going to keep on flipping our defensemen here. I want to pick up this 3rd round pick from the Winnipeg Jets. They're saying no. I'll give you a 7th round pick. I give you a 7th. You give me a 3rd. I think that's a fair deal. So I've gone ahead and made a handful of trades here. I've completely rebuilt the defense. It's 75 overalls and below here. Truthfully, we're going to learn quite a bit this season. If we even go on a deep playoff run, make it to the conference finals or something, we might be dropping it to 70 overall defensemen, because 49 wins at the trade deadline with this team doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now just look at this elite defense right here. 75 overalls and lower. Like, we have a 73 overall defenseman here, and we're already guaranteed a spot in the postseason. How we do from now until the postseason, that's going to tell us a lot here. Like, I can only assume that moving forward, we're going to have a losing record. I just can't see us being a completely dominant team the rest of the season. We have 16 games left in the season. I expect us to only win about 8. Now, I was 100% right. To finish out the season, we only won 8 games, but we lost a handful in either overtime or a shootout, so I'm actually perfectly fine with that, because at least we're still getting points here. Our team finished with 122 points, 3.89 goals per game, 2.6 allowed. Let's look at Kyle Connor's numbers. Clearly, he couldn't have done anything completely dominant. 140 points and 88 goals. Jordan Kyrou had 104 assists. What am I looking at? None of this makes any sense right here. 140 points. Jordan Kyrou, 104 assists for 121 points. Sean Monahan, 104 points. Svechnikov had 88. Sam Bennett, 62. Alex Tuch, 48. So it's not even like our second line was that good. Our first line was dominant and our third line was dominant. We didn't have a good defense here. Our defense was absolutely atrocious. Vinny was the only guy who had played any NHL minutes up until being brought to the team. Our other 5 defensemen were playing AHL minutes until they got brought to our team. But yet here we are, first in the entire league, making the postseason. We do have to remember though, our team before the trade deadline and after the trade deadline, a completely different team. So we'll see. Vancouver might be able to take us down because of our poor defense. Now, like, being completely honest here, I really don't understand what's going on. Like, I did multiple tests on what overall defenseman I would need on our team, and for some reason, apparently none of those tests were accurate whatsoever. We can basically just ignore them. We split the series with Vancouver. Game number 5 is going to be a big one. We have to have a great defensive masterclass in that one, and we allowed 8 goals. Yeah, I think our defense is starting to let us down. Maybe we can't win with 75 overalls. The thing is, though, we could win with 79 overalls and 78 overalls because we won 40 games at the trade deadline. 75 overall players is actually going to make this interesting because we're not guaranteed to win every game. We have a 3-1 lead entering the third period. Can we hold on to it? Yes, we can. We're winning this one 5-1. We have game 7. Because, yeah, clearly based on our performance pre-trade deadline, we were on pace to win a Stanley Cup with the defense that we had. With 75 overalls, maybe not the case. So we have a big game 7 right here. Can we step up when it matters most? Jordan Kyrie's picking up the first goal of the game. Clayton Keller's going to be responding in the second period. I need defense in the third period. And we have 75 overall defensemen. So yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence moving into the third period. But it doesn't matter because Evan Rodriguez is going to pick up the lone goal. We got past Vancouver. We have 75 overall defensemen. So we got past the Vancouver Canucks in 7 games. We're moving on to the second round to take on the Chicago Blackhawks. I still haven't really figured out how this team is winning games. Like, we have 75 overall defensemen here. We even have a 73 overall on our third pairing. Yet we're actually competing with basically every team in the league right now. We split the series with Chicago. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We need to win this one. I don't want to have to make the comeback. We have to make the comeback once again here. So this is a big game right here. And Alex Tuch's picking up the first 2 goals of the game. Moving into the second period, we're going to be exchanging goals. Victor Soderstrom, a big time goal. But can we hold on the third period? Yes, we can. Austin Matthews can't score on a 0 overall defense. Ain't no way. Like, there is just no way that we're actually doing this. Like, it just doesn't make sense. By every metric, we should not be winning games right now. We should not even be in the postseason. We're picking up 2 goals in the first period to Chicago's 1. Moving into the second period, it's going to be all Chicago. They finally found the back of the net. But you know what? We have a pretty solid offense, and we might make the comeback in the third period, but it's not going to be enough here. We just couldn't find the back of the net when it mattered most. Chicago's picking up 5 goals, and we're going to be following here in the second round. Now, we made it to the second round with 75 overalls, and we made it to game 7 of the second round. So that tells me we can win with 75 overall defensemen. We just need a better offense. Like, at the end of the day, our defense is what it is. The Philadelphia Flyers are Stanley Cup champions, but I think it's the offense that we have to work on because we have to make sure our offensive core is just scoring goals like crazy. Truthfully, I was considering picking up a new coach for us, but based on how Kyle Karn performed this season and Jordan Kyrou and Sean Monahan, I don't know if I want to do that. I kind of want to stick with these guys because that first line was something special. I don't want to touch the first line whatsoever. Like, they were absolutely incredible. I think we adjust the second line a little bit and then this team might be able to see a Stanley Cup. Now, when it comes to the draft, there's no point in us even drafting defensemen because when they develop, they're eventually going to be above a 75 overall. So in this video, we're just drafting forwards and goaltenders. But in the reality of everything, we're probably not going to do a lot of drafting. All right, so we got a couple extensions to hand out here. Mason McTavish, you're going to be getting one of them. And how much are you looking for? 3.1 million. I can do that. How about we do 2.9 though? I want to save a couple $100,000. So yeah, we'll do 2.9 million for 1 season. Is he going to be willing to accept that? Yes, he is. So Mason McTavish, welcome back. Nyquist, you actually played really good bottom 6 minutes. So how much are you looking for? I can do 2.9 for you. So 2.9 for Nyquist. He's going to be returning to the team. And then when it comes to all of these defensemen right here, we might as well bring them back, but hopefully they're not asking for too much. Phillips, 1.1 million. I can certainly do that. Soderstrom, you want 1.4 million. It's a little bit much considering you're a 75 overall, but you played good minutes for me. And then Yan Kuznetsov, we're actually going to let you walk because I didn't realize when I traded for you, but you're actually a defensive defenseman, and we can't have any on our team. Also, he's a defensive defenseman that only has 2 stars in his defensive attributes. Don't really know how that works. But yeah, that's going to be the entire re-sign phase. So Kyle Connor, this is going to get a bit sketchy. You're not interested in signing an extension with the team. How much money are you looking for here? Are you reasonable? No, you are not. You are looking for the most money you can sign. You want 18.7 million. You did score 88 goals last season, but for $18 million, are you worth that? that. Low key, yes, he's kind of worth that. I'm not gonna lie. So can we do like 17 with a no movement? I'll offer you 17 million, give you a no movement. That doesn't increase your contract interest quite enough here. I don't hate this. Like, he scored 88 goals for us last season. Like, maybe we don't do that no movement just in case bro completely falls off a cliff. How about a modified no trade? Like, I can do a no movement alongside a modified no trade at 50% team protection, 17.5 million. This is by far the most expensive contract I've ever handed out. So that leaves us with, I think, like $13 million left. That's not the end of the world because we can work around that, especially if Alex Tuch's going to sign a deal like this. So Alex Tuch, I'm perfectly fine with giving you a no movement, 4.5 for the next 5. Now to consideration, Svechnikov's probably going to be staying on this team. Like, he's a 91 overall. He picked up 36 goals last season. He's one of our better players. Sam Bennett, though, you're not a playmaker, and we need a playmaker on our second line. So I'm looking to trade Sam Bennett in a second round pick here. I don't think this is quite going to be enough. It doesn't look like it. Do I give up our first round pick? Like, I could trade our first round pick for next season, and we would probably get this deal done. Now, I'm not 100% confident on how good we're going to be for 2027, so I better get a second round pick back in this deal. They're saying no, just give me Logan Cooley. I think we're low-key getting fleeced here. Actually, it's not low-key. I high-key think we're getting fleeced here. But you know what? We got to get this deal done because I need to bring Logan Cooley to the team. We're doing a 3-team trade. Utah, give me a second and 2 third-round picks here for Sam Bennett. Now I'm flipping all those picks over to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, in theory, all of this right here should be enough for Logan Cooley. We actually probably don't even need this third round pick. We're doing a first and 2 seconds, and they're going to be accepting. No, we fleece them. I mean, we fleece them barring how much it's going to cost to re-sign them. Because if it costs us $15 million, we're in trouble here. $7 million for one season, we'll hold off a little bit. Now, I want some better fits on our bottom 6, so we're going to make a couple trades like this. Robinson's going to be sent over to Colorado for a 2nd and 7th round pick. We're then going to flip these picks elsewhere. Just give me a 2nd rounder if you won't give me the 7th. And then what we'll do with that 2nd round pick is I'll package it up with a 3rd, and we're going to bring Jackson Blake to the team. He'll be a good playmaker on our 3rd line, because that's really what we're missing here. We just don't have a good playmaker on the bottom 6, and Jackson Blake's going to be that guy as long as they eventually accept one of these deals. Like, I don't know why they're not accepting this. Trade value wise, we're given more than enough here. Jackson Blake's finally brought to the team. Now, there's actually a handful of other things that we have to do here. Like, Logan Cooley's now willing to sign an extension with the team, so we're looking at 8.3 for the next 5 years. Matthias Michelli, more than likely, we're actually just going to be letting you walk here. And Jackson Blake, I want to make sure you're sticking around. You want 3.6? I'm actually willing to overpay a little bit to keep you on this team. So I'll do 3.2 million for the next 3 years. Jackson Blake's going to be sticking around. I think we could be looking at a Stanley Cup this season. Now, at face value, you might think I'm tweaking with a deal like this, but Mason McTavish for Matthew Knies and Ivan Miroshnichenko, I think we can pick up both these guys for just Mason McTavish. Apparently not. We have to throw some picks in the deal. So I've made a lot of moves during the offseason and at the beginning of this season, but with every move I've made, there's been a reasoning for it. Now, I was about to go over our team, but I noticed a couple things. Every one of our defensemen is now higher than a 75 overall. So moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sign a bunch of 75 overalls at the beginning of the season. Then we don't have to worry about them progressing over the offseason and getting better. We just know exactly what we're going to be bringing to the team. So with that being said, I have to go ahead and sign 6 defensemen. So you might be wondering, why did I make the trades I made when it came to our bottom 6? Well, this is why. I had a conversation with all the guys on our 3rd line. Matthew Knies, his role is a 3rd line winger. Iginla's role, a 3rd line centerman. Jackson Blake, a 3rd line right winger. So I had a conversation with all these guys, and now they have perfect fits. So all of these guys have a perfect fit on the line they're playing. Everyone on our 1st line has a perfect fit here. Alex Tuch has a perfect fit on the 2nd line. Logan Cooley's role is a 1st line centerman, so we weren't able to get a great fit with him, but still, his line fit right now isn't too bad. But looking at the offense here, I think we might see a lot of success this season. Like, our 3rd line's gonna be really good. Our 4th line's gonna be pretty solid as well, but just look at this defense. All 75 overalls with perfect line fits, because I went ahead and had a conversation with all these guys, and they all have perfect line fits here. Well, except for Jones and this defenseman right here, but that's neither here nor there. We have really good line chemistry, and we got ourselves amazing goaltending. 91 overall Sorokin. It's time for this team to go on another crazy run. All right, so the question has to be asked, can we have a worse defense than what we have? 7th in the entire league, a 39-23-2 record. We're still winning a lot of games here. Our offense is great. Our defense isn't quite terrible yet. It's not great, but it's not terrible yet. Could we run 70 overall defensemen? If we had 70 overall defensemen with perfect line chemistry, would that still be good enough here? Because Kyle Connor, 60 goals, 46 assists, 106 points this season. Sean Monahan, 103. Svechnikov, 85. Jordan Kyrou, 72. We have a lot of big time performers here. The third line's not doing quite as good as I thought they would, but the team's not bad. The team's still performing at an amazing pace here. Goaltending isn't spectacular, but Sorokin's doing what he can. Scott Wedgwood's low-key saving the day here. A 15-4 record, 2 shots, a 922 and a 246. Scott Wedgwood's the guy. Can we make our defense any worse than it is right now? Like, truthfully, I think 75 overall defenseman is probably the lowest that we can go here. I'm assuming some of these guys have progressed. Yes, they have, but I think we only have 75 overalls in the NHL right now. And that is correct. The only players we have playing men's for us right now are 75 overalls. All these 77 and 78 overalls, they're in the AHL. But would it be possible with only 70 overall defensemen for us to win a Stanley Cup? We'll try that out next season. This season, we're going to rock all these 75s because the 75s are doing their thing. We have 39 wins right now. It's 10 wins less than last season, but I think we'll be a bit better after the trade deadline. The Rattlers aren't looking terrible here. Like, somehow we're a top 10 team in the NHL, even though we basically don't have any good defensemen here. We're competing with the best in the league without any defensemen. If things continue like this, we might be rocking 70 overall defensemen sooner than we think. Okay, next season, we're dropping it to 70 overall defensemen. We are going to run 70 overall defensemen because we're 5th in the entire league with a 50, 29, and 3 record. We can't be this good. We're allowing over 3 goals per game, which actually is a good sign, so it's clear that our bad defensemen are hurting this team, but we're scoring 3.7 goals per game. This team is absolutely flying right now. Nothing can really stop us. Kyle Connor, 136 points, 75 goals. Sean Monahan this season, he's picking up 111 assists because why not? Sean Monahan's that guy. Svechnikov, 108 points. Jordan Kyrou, 91. This team was really good, barring the third line where everyone had perfect fits. We're just going to ignore that. We're going to pretend our third line didn't happen. Sorokin, you were really good this season, but just look at Scott Wedgwood's numbers. Do we turn to him in the postseason? Because Scott Wedgwood was just absolutely incredible here. I feel like we got to turn to Scott Wedgwood, but you know what? In the big time games, when you need the big time performer, Sorokin's going to be our guy. We have the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. We better be locked in. But you know what? We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves here, because can 75 overall defensemen win in the playoffs? That's the real question. We might be able to make it into the postseason, but can we actually win any games of the postseason? Because if we get swept here, we might have to stick with 75 overall defensemen, but we did win game number 2 and game number 3. We won 3 games in a row. We're dropping it to 70 overall defensemen next season. We got to build the worst defense possible and win a Stanley Cup with them. So you got past the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. I'm absolutely stunned at that, but now we have our toughest task, the Dallas Stars. They're one of the top teams in the NHL, but so is the Rockford Rattlers, so you can't sleep on us. So the Dallas Stars are up next here. Are we going to be able to take them down without a defense here? We won game number 1. Can we steal game number 2? No, we can't. Just don't drop 3 in a row here. We split the series with Dallas. Game number 5 is going to be an important one, and we're going to be winning that one. I'm actually a little surprised that we're winning game 5 here. Close it out in game number 6. What is going on? We're winning games. We don't have a defense here, and we're winning games. We've made it to the conference finals. We're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights next. Do not stop. This team's rolling on all cylinders right now. Nobody can really compete with us. We dropped 2 in a row. We're down 3-1. I got way too confident. So we're in game 5. We need to make a 3-1 series comeback. Defense is really going to be deciding this game right here. We need elite defense in the third period, and I need the offense to wake up for us. That's just not happening. 4 goals allowed is going to be too much in this one. But at the end of the day, the defense didn't let us down. It was the offense. 1 goal scored here, 1 goal scored here. We scored 3 here, but 3 goals here, 2 goals here. Our offense vanished when we needed it most. I can't even be mad about this team's defense, because it was the offense that let us down. So we fell in the conference finals. The Columbus Blue Jackets are winning the Stanley Cup here, and they took down the Vegas Golden Knights in a sweep, so clearly we just weren't ready here. When it comes to our offense during the postseason, Monahan was great, Kyle Connor was great, Jordan Kyrou was great, Svechnikov was great here. We had a lot of really good pieces here. I think we do need to make some small changes though. Alex Tuch, you disappointed me. 4 points in 16 games. Bro, what were you doing out there? Sorokin had a 921 and a 268. Yeah, we definitely should have won a Stanley Cup this season. And considering our team's going to be worse next season because we're going to make our defense even worse, like when I did all of my tests I needed 78 and 79 overalls, but apparently all you need nowadays is 70 overall defensemen. We might even rock a 69 overall on our third pairing just cuz. No, like we are truly building a 99 offense and a 0 overall defense here. Now we only had 3 picks to work with in the draft and we didn't get any notable players here, so we're not even going to talk about the draft here. We will talk about the re-sign phase and the guys we are bringing back to the team. But in saying that, is there anyone we really have to bring back here? Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure we have basically everyone signed right now. Matias Maccelli, if you're willing to sign a cheap deal, I'll actually bring you back to the team here. You want 2.7? That's not terrible. Like 2.7 from Matias Maccelli is very reasonable, so I'm going to give him that contract right there. So here you go, Matias Maccelli. Welcome back to the team. Nyquist is going to walk. I'm Rostichenko. I would like to bring you back to the team here. And you're willing to do a 2-way contract this time, and that's perfect. I'll do 2 years at $1 million. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that. I'm Rostichenko. You're a stick on the ice legend for accepting that right there. Everyone else, though, they're going to be walking. Oh yeah, there is one other guy we have to bring back. Scott Wedgwood, you were a stud last season. You're going to run it back with us. So when it comes to this offseason, I actually don't think we're doing anything because I don't want to re-sign any of these guys right here. If anything, we're going to trade them away. When it comes to goaltenders, nothing to do here. So yeah, I think we're just going to head straight to next season. Now, I think we should make some changes to our fourth line here. Pavel Zacha, I can't really pay you almost $5 million to play fourth line minutes, so I'm going to send you over to the Capitals. Malatesta, welcome to the team. Adam Sikora, I think you could play some good fourth line minutes, so I'm going to send Evan Rodriguez over to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Sikora is going to be joining the team. I think those are realistically the only moves we're going to make here, and then we're going to make sure that all the guys on our fourth line have perfect fits. Now, unfortunately with Adam Sikora here, he wasn't willing to adapt to our fourth line tendencies. I am going to give him an extension, but what are you doing, my guy? I need you to help me. Now, a long time ago, Kemmel was a part of this team, and I think it's time that we bring him back here. Miroshnichenko and a first round pick is going to be sent over. I tried to keep Ivan on the team, but he wouldn't adapt to his fourth line role, so yeah, we're just going to trade him away here along with that first round pick. Unfortunately, it's not enough here, but hopefully a third and fourth rounder can make the difference. I'm fine with trading all of our draft picks away, and we're probably going to be doing that. So we have no draft picks for 2027. We trade a bunch of draft picks for 2028, but it's going to be worth it. Now, over the last 2 seasons, we saw a lot of success, and a lot of success that this team probably shouldn't be seeing. Sean Monahan, Kyrou, Kyle Connor on the top line. Then we got ourselves Alex Tuch, Logan Cooley, and Svechnikov on the second line. The bottom 6 is looking amazing, and then it's our defense. 70 overalls and 70 overalls only. Can we make the playoffs and can we win a Stanley Cup with these guys right here? Sorokin's dropped 3 overalls, not a great sign, but we know he's going to step up in the big moments. When I started this video off, I was thinking we were going to need 79 and 78 overall defensemen. Here we are in season number 3, and we have 70 overall defensemen. Things have changed. Now, there is one big difference this season, and it's not the 70 overall defensemen on our team, and it's definitely not the fact that we're one of the worst teams in the entire league. It is Kyle Connor. Where is bro? Normally at this point, he has 100 points. He has 57. I don't know what happened. Kyle Connor fell off. Like, he fell off a massive cliff here. I don't know what's wrong with Kyle Connor. I don't know what's wrong with our power play. But yeah, we're not performing anymore. This team is just not producing. I think we're cooked. I think we're in a lot of trouble now. I don't know what we're going to do to recover from this. Scott Wedgwood is significantly worse this season. I think one thing that we've definitely learned here, you need at least 75 overall defensemen. 70 overall defensemen just aren't going to cut it. We're going to ride it out this season. We're going to hope that we somehow sneak into the playoffs. I doubt it's going to happen. But next season, we're going for a Stanley Cup, and we're doing it with 75 overall defensemen. We have a great team here. We have a lot of great pieces. But yeah, 70 overall defensemen just aren't going to cut it. Like, we're 10 points out of the playoffs right now, so we're going to have to go on an absolute heater to finish out the season, and I just can't see that happening. Now, I don't know what happened to this team, but we are one of the worst in the entire league. We went from being one of the best to one of the worst here. A 36, 37-9 record. Yeah, we're not running 70 overall defensemen again. It's 75 overalls minimum. I think I got too confident, but then again, Kyle Connor, where were you, bro? You had 50 goals this season. You had 86 points. You did nothing for me. Like, you had 50 less points than you had last season. How does that even happen? And then 54 from 2 seasons ago where you scored 88 goals and 140 points. What are you doing now? It's the same lines. It's the same team, it's the same everything. You just decided, nah, I actually don't want to produce this season. It ain't right. It's not right whatsoever here. We're missing the playoffs. The Dallas Stars are winning. We will be back though. No, like, seriously, I'm actually a little bit annoyed. Like, I knew we were going to take a step back. Don't get me wrong. But we were one of the worst teams in the entire league. Last year, we were 7th with 50 wins, and then this happened. nobody performed. We don't have any draft picks, so we don't have to worry about drafting here. We don't have too many players we have to re-sign. Just give me some better defensemen and we'll be all right. So these are all the pieces that we have to re-sign here in Malatest. I'm going to bring you back to the team. We'll do 1.4 for the next 2 years. You're a pretty solid guy on the 4th line, so I don't mind having you here. Everyone else outside of Malatest is going to be walking here. We don't need to bring any of these guys back. Even Scott Wedgwood's going to be walking. We got to start fresh. Now we have $21 million in cap space, and there's a couple guys we have to bring back. That's a Ginla, that's Matthew Knies, that's Kemmel, but we can't give all of them extensions quite yet. We can give a Ginla an extension, and it's going to be an amazing deal. 4.7 for the next 5 years. Yeah, that works for me. Matthew Knies is going to be the next guy up, and he's only looking for 3.2 million. That works for me as well. Kemmel, we can't give you a deal yet, but we do have lots of cap space. Let's see who's out there in free agency. Like, is there someone we can bring in on a 1-year deal? Nikita Kucherov would be a game changer, that's for sure. If we were able to bring Nikita Kucherov in, I think that would put us in an amazing spot here. Mark Stone honestly wouldn't even be that bad of a pickup either. But Nikita Kucherov, can we do a 1-year deal? I know you're not interested in a 1-year deal, but what if I just throw you like $18 million? Like, the most I can give you is $18.395 million. I'm going to offer Nikita Kucherov that. If he accepts, okay, he did. I think we're winning a Stanley Cup. Who's going to stop us? Like, realistically, who is stopping this forward core right here? If you can stop this forward core, I got to give you a lot of props. I don't care if we don't have a defense here. We have goaltending and we have scoring. That's all we need. So we've got our super team constructed here. Sean Monahan, Kyle Connor, Nikita Kucherov on the top line, Jordan Kyrou, Logan Cooley, and Svechnikov on the second line, Alex Tuch, Iginla, Kemmel on the third line. No, like, we have offense here. Our defense, we're not going to talk about that. Everyone has perfect line fits though, so we're not going to worry here. When it comes to goaltending, Sorokin's still the guy, 88 overall. Can he win a Stanley Cup without a defense in front of him? Yes, he can, because we're going to score 15 goals per game. Now, I'm not going to lie, this team is just funny. We're third in the entire league. We're scoring over 4 goals per game. If we had this offense with the 70 overall defensemen, we probably would have been able to win a Stanley Cup, considering Sean Monahan has 122 points right now. He has 122 points at the 67 game mark. Nikita Kucherov, 121. Kyle Connor, 115. All we need is a first line. We just need these 3 guys right here, and we could probably win a Stanley Cup. Goaltending wise, Sorokin, he's actually putting up really good numbers. 31 wins, 6 shots, a 908 and a 279. Okay, Sorokin's doing his thing here. We are absolutely locked in. The team is flying here. I would like to make a trade, but I actually don't want to do that because the team is so good right now. We're not making any adjustments. We're rocking the team we have. We're going to finish as a top 5 team, and then we're going to get ourselves a Stanley Cup. No, but seriously, why couldn't have you guys just done this with a 70 overall defenseman? Like, I believe that if we had 70 overall defensemen here with this offense, we probably still would be able to win. But nope, we can't do it unless we have 75s. So the Rattlers offense was even better to finish out the season. It went from just over 4 goals per game to 4.23 goals per game. We are allowing 3 goals per game, but that's actually not that bad considering the rest of the teams in the entire league. Our offense was probably in the upper third. That doesn't really make too much sense here, but we're not going to question it. Sean Monahan, 149 points. He had 112 assists. Nikita Kucherov, 59 goals. Kyle Connor, 59 goals. This team makes no sense whatsoever. Like, we don't have defensemen here. Who is our top scoring defenseman? Bowie. Madison Bowie, 12 goals, 21 helpers for 33 points here. Yeah, bro wasn't even on the power play. None of these guys were on the power play. Crotty had 1 point on the power play. But no, we just said, we're going to run a power play of only forwards. Monahan, Kucherov, Kyle Connor, Svechnikov, Logan Cooley. That's our power play. And you know what? It worked out pretty well. These guys were absolutely dominating. We're the second best team in the entire league. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. It's time for us to bring home a Stanley Cup. So I think the Rattlers are just a different team this time. Like, our offense is too good. We're just scoring way too many goals. 10 goals in game number 1. That set the statement here. We know what this team has to do. We just have to outscore our problems, and we're doing that so far. We had a 3-0 series lead, but then we dropped game number 4. I know this team's not going to lose 4 games in a row. There's just no way that Colorado's going to be able to stop our offense for 4 games in a row here. We're going to win one of these games, and now that game has to be game 7. Like, what are we doing here? I know we don't have the greatest defense, but we do have an amazing offense, and that offense is not scoring for me right now. What are we doing? We have a 1-goal lead entering the third. I'm incredibly concerned here, but luckily with 1 minute left in the game, Matthew Knies is scoring the winner. That was way too close. That was way too close for comfort, but we are moving on. Now, this is going to be the true battle right here. We're taking on the best team in the entire league in the Chicago Blackhawks. It's the Blackhawks versus the Rattlers, the top 2 teams. only one can advance. So we know it's all about offense, but it's also all about goaltending here because I need Sorokin to be perfect. We're winning game number 1. Can we steal game 2? No, we can't, but we are going to be splitting the series. Game 5 is going to be a big game. I don't think we can afford to lose that one, and we're not going to lose it. Can we close it out here in game number 6? Take down the Blackhawks. We need game 7 yet again. I feel like a lot of these series are going to go to 7 games because at the end of the day, we are going to have some bad defensive performances, but we just need to make sure that we have more better offensive performances than poor defensive performances. It's tied entering the third period, and who's going to show up when it matters? The offense and the defense. All right, that works. So we took down the best team in the Chicago Blackhawks in 7 games. So you know what that means? We're officially the best team in the NHL left. All we have to do is win 8 more games. So 8 more wins is all we need here, but we have to take it one game at a time. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We lost the first 2, but we're responding in back-to-back games. How about we make that 3 straight victories, and that's what we're doing. Can we make it 4 straight victories and make it into the Stanley Cup final? What a shocker. We need game 7 once again. So far in the playoffs, we've been game 7 performers. We just need to see that again. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, again, let's picking up a big power play goal, score a couple third period goals, play some great defense, and we're in the Stanley Cup final just like that. 2 goals and great defense is allowing us to advance here. We're in the Cup final with 75 overalls. So it all comes down to this. 2 great teams matching up. The Columbus Blue Jackets, a top 5 team. The Rattlers, a top 5 team. They're actually the best team remaining according to record, but that doesn't mean anything in the playoffs. Who can be the first to win 4 games? So we've really done it. With a 99 overall offense and a 0 overall defense, we've been dominating the postseason. I shouldn't say dominating though, because every series has gone to 7 games, except for this one right here, because we're going to close it out in 6. Just kidding. You all knew we needed 7 games. Why has every series gone to 7 games? I have no clue, but we've won every game 7 up until this point, and why would we start losing now? Matthew Nye is the first goal of the game. Moving into the second, we're going to be exchanging goals here. Connor McDavid's on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Are we really going to shut McDavid down against a 0 overall defense? Yes, we are. In the third period, Columbus wasn't able to score, and we're going to be winning the Stanley Cup. We might have went to 4 straight Game 7s, but we were 4-0. We won every Game 7, and with a 0 overall defense, we're Stanley Cup champions. Now, there's one thing on everyone's mind right now. What did our offense look like during the postseason? Because we were allowing a lot of goals, but we were scoring a lot of goals as well. And this isn't quite nearly as good as I thought it would be, but look at all of our 20-point scorers. Logan Cooley, 28. Jordan Kyrou, 28. Nikita Kucherov, 27. Kyle Connor, 27. Sean Monahan, 27. Svechnikov, 25. Matthew Nice, 22. We had a lot of 20-point scorers here, but I was really expecting to see a couple guys with like 30, 40 points here. I thought Kucherov, Kyle Connor, and Sean Monahan would all be significantly above a point a game, but they were all below a point a game here. Like, considering Sorokin had a 16-11-1 record, 2 shots, a 904 and a 320, I was expecting we would have a couple 40-point scorers on this team, but apparently not. We didn't have any 40-point scorers, and our defense, they did things. Rathbone, you had 5 points. Bowie, you had 5 points. These guys really didn't do too much. Like, in 28 postseason games, our defensemen combined for 20 points. That is absurd. Logan Cooley had more than 20. Kyrou had more than 20. Kucherov had more than 20. Kyle Connor had more than 20. Look at everyone with over 20 points. Even with a 0 overall defense, we still found a way to win a Stanley Cup.